Since holiday season is starting, I wanted to feel magical. Sailor Moon herself is one of the most powerful and iconic characters, and she is known for her two huge meatball pigtails. So that's where we're going with this. I just think it adds a unique sense of style and really ups the Asian inspiredness to it. Since holiday season is starting, I wanted to feel magical, powerful, and I don't know, just extraordinarily amazing. And the first thing that came into my head was Sailor Moon, the girl with the two big puffs and long pigtails, just out here protecting the universe because she's technically the princess of it. So I decided, let me try to emulate that and go with an Asian inspired hairstyle, and this is what I got. So I'm gonna walk you through how I did this hairstyle so you can feel just as magical and extraordinary as you possibly can, because you are. Let's go. Whenever I try to do a new hairstyle, one of the very first things I try to do is detangle my hair. Whether it's a wet detangle or a dry detangle, it's just very important for me as a curly girl to make sure I have no knots. Why? Because knots, pulling too much on them can cause breakage in your hair, can cause a lot of difficulty, and sometimes can make it difficult to even do a hairstyle in the first place. So making sure I detangle in the beginning is one of the easiest ways to make sure I have the least amount of issues going through the hairstyle, and it just all comes together better. Now, I do know for some people dry detangling your hair isn't the best method for you. I personally like to use a wide tooth comb because if I dry detangle, it causes the least amount of breakage or no breakage at all. And I actually prefer to detangle starting at the tips of my hair and then working my way up to the roots. And the reason for this is because when I was a kid, my mom, who has straight hair, did not really know what to do with my curly hair, and she would take the brush from the roots of my head and try to go all the way down, and it was so painful that when I started to brush my own hair, or whenever I had the chance to take the comb or the brush away from her, I would always start on the bottom and then detangle slowly, working my way up. And it has been that way ever since. My mom has had conversations and she knows that's the way you gotta do it with curly hair, bottom to top. Otherwise, you're just gonna make the knots bigger and rip the hair out. But you know, learning lesson for everybody, right? And also, that was when I learned more about detangling products and getting into the whole detangling and everything. Now that our hair is detangled, I like to always run it through a few times just to make sure I'm not missing any knots. And then we are gonna just part our hair in the center and take it all the way back. Sailor Moon herself is one of the most powerful and iconic characters in the entire world, whether it's anime, cartoon, or just figure, right? And she is known for her two huge meatball pigtails. So that's where we're going with this. We're going straight for the pigtail look. Now, I don't have as much hair as Sailor Moon because let's face it, her hair was going down to her shins. Like, that is below knee length. I've never seen that in person, but she got a lot of hair, so I'm not gonna have the super big meatballs that she has, but we are going to have some very, very cute pigtails when we do this. It's gonna come out great, and this is just the beginning. Now that we have our hair detangled thoroughly and separated, we're just gonna put half of it away so that way it's not going to get mixed up or combined with the part that we have out. Now from here, I am going to wet the roots of my hair because I want it to be smooth. I want it to be just shiny, smooth, and not too much curl pattern in the way. I find that when I do that when it's dry, it has a little bit of a crimped type of look, and that's not what I want. I just want it to be whoosh, sleek and beautiful. So I am trying to get this into a high pigtail, and I'm even twisting it a little just so that way I could detangle the ends. We gotta make sure this is detangled no matter what. And then I'm going to take a bit of the gel or edge control. I've actually found that curly hair gel works so much better on my edges than edge control. Like, it stays the whole day, and since I have a lot of curly hair gel, I'm just repurposing it. But yeah, get everything in a nice little pigtail and we are good to go. I'm adding a little bit extra gel because I want everything to stay nice and tight. Now, before we even go into styling anything, I just want to make sure we get both pigtails as even as we can. I think I have a little bit of a lopsided head, so I do hope that these pigtails stay lined up, leveled up, and that way if I need to change one side or the other side, it's all good, and we're doing it right here. So I'm just adding that gel in because I want this to stay as smooth as possible, as sleek as possible, and I'm making sure the other pigtail is not in the way and there's no hair intertwining with that. And guys, I don't know about you, but please let me know if there is an easier way to make sure that these pigtails stay at the same height on your head, because truthfully, I mess this up so much. It's always like one is slightly higher than the other. But yeah, once you get your pigtails done and lined up, you're good. We are officially in the styling part, and what we're going to do is just split those pigtail puffs in half. We want a top and a bottom half. Top half, we're just gonna twist it and kind of push it away to the side. We do not want to touch that yet. Just get it out the way. And then the bottom half, we're gonna section into at least 2 to 3 sections that we're just gonna braid down, and this is gonna be one of those simple basic braids all the way down. And just FYI, if you do not have rubber bands like I didn't, you can just use gel to kind of close off the ends and give it a nice curl, or grab a pair of rubber bands that is either clear, colorful, or matches your hair. The world is yours. Now, for me personally, I'm going to section this off into 3 sections for 3 braids, so that way I have a little bit more fun to play with. And I do also want to do something very unique with that very first braid that we did, and don't worry about that top little piece of section that we got out the way. I promise you that part is the easiest part of this whole styling thing. The braids right here is, aside from putting your hair into pigtails, the hardest part. And look at you, you're getting through it really, really fast, and that is amazing. So yeah, I'm just braiding these down, making sure that we have enough room for this. And the reason why I wanted to do my hair on dry hair instead of wet hair is because one thing I noticed for me is that when my hair is wet, yes, the braids can come out looking longer, looking sleeker, but they'll also come out a bit thinner. Whereas when I braid my hair when it's dry and puffed out, my braids look thicker, even though they're shorter. And I kind of want my hair to have a little thickness to it because I am sectioning my hair so much. I want it to feel full instead of just long. So now that we are finishing up that third braid, we are going to just make sure the edges are gelled down, and we're going to take out that top section, and all we're gonna do is twist it into a curly bun. Now with that top section, you just want to make sure it's detangled so that way the bun comes out as smooth as possible. And I'm actually doing like a little twist type of bun and braiding it kind of through the braids underneath, so that way it all looks like it's one cohesive piece. And then I am tying it off with a scrunchie. Now from here, this is optional, and if you want to be creative for a little Asian inspired, take that first braid that's closest to your ear and just take the tip of it and kind of use a bobby pin to tie it into the top of the bun. This is going to give that nice little swoop. Now all that's left to do is to officially repeat everything on the other side. So we're going to separate that pigtail poof into two sections, a top and a bottom section. We're going to tie that top section to keep it out of the way, and then we're going to separate that bottom section into at least 2 to 3 braids. And just FYI, I'm doing 3 braids because I just think it kind of looks more fun. So just braid these braids down, and remember that first braid that you do, the one that's closest to your ear, we have the option to create kind of a little circle with it to add a little bit of uniqueness and playfulness to the hairstyle. So if you do not have any rubber bands, you could always use gel. I'm using gel today because I kind of want my ends to be curled and nice, and also I kind of just want my hair to do all the work. But yeah, outside of that, we are braiding it down. I am working with my dry hair instead of wet because I want these braids to look thicker than anything else. And when I braid on wet hair, my hair does come out longer, but it does look a bit thinner to me, and that's not what I personally am going for. And see guys, it's coming out really, really nice. What do you think? Now, I will say this because I tend to mess this up every once in a while. When you section your hair, you see how I keep touching the top section? It's because I did not properly put the top section away, and some of the hair is starting to intermix with the braids. Now, this can cause a problem for me when it comes to putting that top section in a bun, because if my hair is intertwined with the braids, it can mess up how the braids itself look and cause a bit of a problem. So just make sure if you are putting your hair into a section and it needs to be away, then please make sure it is not interfering. Otherwise, you're gonna just have to re-braid everything all over. But here we are putting everything into a nice little bun. I am also putting one of the twists underneath the braids so that way it all looks cohesive and like it's all from one section. And once that's done, you can take that bobby pin, and this is optional, and you could kind of take that first braid by your ear and just pin it in. And last but not least, my personal favorite, and for me what feels like it ties my hair together, is just fixing my edges, adding in some extra swoops to kind of go with it and give it that nice youthful look to it. So that's it. Alright guys, so this is the final hairstyle. You do not have to do these wraparound rings. I just think it adds a unique sense of style and really ups the Asian inspiredness to it. And also, one thing I like about this is if you have hair jewelry, you could literally put it around and it could hang kind of like ornamental pieces, which is amazing. And if you don't have a lot of hair, or if you're using braiding hair or any extensions, you could mix and match it all in to make your puffs bigger, to make your braids thicker or longer. This really is a versatile hairstyle now that I think about it. It doesn't matter though, as long as you feel amazing in it, that's what matters. This for me is just my natural hair, and as you can see, even though I did not have an abundance of it, I still made it work, which is the goal. I do think for me, using dry hair instead of wet hair made these a bit thicker, versus where it's wet, I could pull it tighter, it's gonna come out thinner. And also, especially for up here, just the fact that my hair was dry and brushed out, it made these puffs kind of puff out a bit more than it would if my hair was wet, where it'd be a bit tighter and a bit smoother. So I like my little puffs right here. But yeah, let me know if you tried this hairstyle, if anything resonated with you. I would love to know. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!